whoa. It's a new day, everybody. Welcome. I am your boy, Lucas Avram, here at the Club with Lucas. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's a beautiful Tuesday out there, and fashion cares. Huacata Zuju. Now, I'm not riffing on anything except absolutely fabulous with that, but I am being joined later on to this morning, children, with Laura Avery and Lady Karen Holiday, who's going to be joining us. They are throwing, I'm going to call it, the city's best pre-loved fashion event. Now, as you know, Fashion Week has been going on for the last few weeks, and this boy up in here is going to tell you a little story about some fashion weeks back in the day with a one Kelly Million shout out to LA right now. But everybody, we're going to also be bringing you some news, because even though we're talking about fashion caring right now, we're also going to be talking about why we're caring and what we're going to be doing with an event that's happening this Sunday. It's going to be going down in Carrer Banjbais, the Old Baths, number 13. In El Gótico. That's actually going to be at Palau Dalmases, and we're going to be joining you. We're going to be joined by the beautiful ladies in just a minute to talk about that. In fact, they joined us last month, and before that, 3 months before that, or 2 months before that, in reference to why we're doing these types of events. What is Lucas talking about? We'll give you some of that, as well as some unfortunate news as we get ever closer to more drama that's happening on the European border between, of course, Russia and NATO forces, or in a non-NATO country, Ukraine. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, as well as my opinion on things going up. But you know as well, shout out again to Los Angeles, because I do hail from the United States, and things are a little bit different when we talk about football there, because American football is very different from the football we know here. And LA Rams won the Super Bowl 56, and nobody really gives an ish, because the main thing was their halftime show, which was a retrospective on hip hop and all that good stuff. In fact, to me, it was almost like a torch being passed down. We had some of the biggies. We had Snoop. Now, everybody knows how much I love Snoop, and for the various reasons that I love Snoop. But we had Snoop, we had Dre, we had Eminem, we had, who did they pass it down to? Why am I blanking on names right now? It doesn't matter, because the queen was there. The queen of hip-hop soul, Mary J, was there. And we are starting today's lineup because Mary J just dropped a new record called Hello, Gorgeous. And boy, was she looking banging. It was a beautiful, beautiful show. And honestly, it was one of the fiercest and in some ways poignant halftime shows in the Super Bowl 56 this year. But anyway, Mary J has dropped this new album out. She's got a new single out, but I'm not playing that. I'm playing a track from the record with Anderson .Paak, because that is my boy, and everybody that knows this show knows that I love Anderson .Paak. So it's Mary with Anderson .Paak. This is Here With Me. It's a 2.5-minute ditty. We'll be right back with that news in English for you to use. Remember, folks, follow us at 106.9 FM. Catch the tunes live there, as well as radio canal with a K, Barcelona.com. And don't forget to add me on the social media love, y'all. The Club with Lucas on Instagram and the Club W Lucas on Twitter. We'll be right back.
Bumper to bumper, like LA in traffic. I write the lyrics, she made the captions. Who gon' direct you with all them theatrics? But of course, ain't that the way it's supposed to be? Supposed to be, yeah, supposed to be. Yeah. Here with me, here with me, yeah. 'Cause you're here with me. Wait. Like New York in traffic, I make the features and do all the casting. Who gon' direct me with all these theatrics? But of course, go ahead and roll one, ain't gotta pass it. I play the role, but this ain't no acting. This show is over, but we can't be canceled. But of course, ain't that the way it's supposed to be? Supposed to be, supposed to be, yeah, supposed to be. Here with me, here with me, 'cause you're here with me. Give me more than sex, yeah, I need to connect. Don't wanna wake up in the morning feeling sad and regretful. Don't wanna press, but when it's us, want you to make me feel special. But of course, give me more than sex, yeah, I need to connect. Don't wanna wake up in the morning
Yes, you are. You are here with me. It is the Club with Lucas here at Radio Canal Barcelona, 106.9 FM, and English Radio BCN as well. And we are repping the fashion cares today. And we are also repping some interesting news, Children of the Corn, because as we speak, unfortunately, there's never a dull moment in our lives. And maybe that's a good thing. At least I can say that for me. I don't know if you can say that for you. But Russia's invasion into Ukraine is being slated for tomorrow. Now, in 2014, when Russia first annexed Crimea, there was a bit of a snafu, bit of a smokescreen issue that was going on. And I don't think people remember this, but I'm going to make some news about that. I want to remind you a little bit about history because this is how Lucas rolls. And you should know. In 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea, everything happened when the then president of Crimea, who had more and more become anti-democratic, was thrown out by his own people, literally storming the capital and throwing him out of Kyiv. He had to escape to Russia. I believe his name was Medvedev. Excuse me. And one of his political advisors, actually campaign advisors, was a man named Paul Manafort, who also had to leave as the man had to escape to Russia. Well, Paul Manafort, who's an American, had to escape back to the United States, and he became the campaign advisor for Trump. That's just one thing. But when that was going down, and Medvedev was running out, I believe that's his name, forgive me if it's not, but he was an ass. And Crimea, and this was going on in Kiev, and basically democratic forces retook back, they took back their government. That is when Russia annexed Crimea. Now, sanctions, very light sanctions were put on to Russian forces, specifically by some NATO countries and, of course, the United States of America. I shouldn't say and because they're there, hello. But that was what was happening. Now, they're again stating that we are going to be putting swift forces of sanctions against them, specifically from the United States. But this is what one of Putin's Kremlin right-hand men apparently has said. He is an ambassador for one of the regions over there, and they didn't basically say, I'm not going to repeat the word, but we don't give an ish. We don't give an ish about the sanctions that the U.S. or NATO are going to be putting on us. Many people, specifically the chief of Russia, we'll call him that, Putin, are saying that this is not going to happen, that this is all just being, exploded by the press and by the United States. But the U.S. and the U.K. are saying that tomorrow, March 16th, will be the D-Day in which Russian forces will try to do some kind of a false flag event that'll make it look like Ukraine had somehow started this, and then Russia will have the excuse to invade. This is what they're saying. We do not know if it's going to happen. One side, of course, is stating that this is all hearsay and this is not going to happen, and history probably dictates otherwise. I would also like to just remind people that Russia had one of the biggest parts of both world wars, World War I and World War II. Let us not forget that. And although I don't believe, as an historian, that history repeats itself, I believe it does have a pattern. And I don't think people learn from patterns anyway. So calls for diplomacy are still ongoing as I speak, with some hope for it, despite Russia sending even more troops to the Ukrainian border over the weekend. We're also finding out by aerial radar and video, rather, that field hospitals and blood supplies are also being put over the Ukrainian and Moldovan borders. So today, German Chancellor Scholz is actually going to be meeting with Vladimir Putin. How fun will that be? Anybody see the distance between him and Macron the other day? Well, if you were wondering why you were seeing those pictures, it was because Macron refused to take any Russian antigen or PCR test because he didn't want them putting any of their stuff inside of him. Obviously, that is his right to do that, but Putin made a big drama out of it and made that show with that huge table. Anyway, they're going to be meeting today. Assuredly, they're going to be talking about the Nord Stream pipeline. The Nord Stream pipeline is one of the major ways that Germany contracts and gets I believe it's natural gas, perhaps even something to do with oil, but definitely natural gas. And despite the calls for diplomacy and the show of it, because the German chancellor is going to meet with Vladimir Putin today, Biden says that that will be immediately shut off However, what's his name did not say that. Scholz, when he was meeting with Biden last week, did not say that. How does this affect Spain and Catalonia? Well, at the moment, very little. Okay, Spain has some forces ready to go if necessary. Most NATO countries do. Remember, Europe does not have its own army, so it is dependent on each individual, you know, European member community or NATO community as well if they're going to be joining forces against the Russian allies. Let us not forget that last week, as well as the Olympic Games are going on, Russia met with President Xi of China, and it was definitely a show of something. Okay. So I wonder if everybody realizes that we are definitely living through history. History, let's talk history. Elections in Castilla y León. That does not affect us. But the right one there, no surprise there, folks. What is freaking people out is that the rise of the far right, namely that Vox party, which has also instilled itself somehow in Catalonia very well now, not very well, but well enough, they have gone ahead and made a massive gain on what was usually held by the Popular Party. So that is an interesting, perhaps precarious region in which we'll be entrenched upon soon. We'll see how that goes. The socialists are denying any favorability. They will not be helping pass anybody that's going to be connected to Vox. We'll see how that goes. And Ayuso Quiero Ser Tu Muso apparently is trying to kiss up to the hate leader of the Pepe. Not kiss up, challenge him. Casado, that guy. He's on his way out. Mark my words. Also, in Drumpf update, since that's the other country that we're going to talk about really quickly, the accounting firm that has been handling ex-president, one term, twice impeached, losing president Donald Trump, that have been handling his accounts for years, has of last night resigned anything to do with him because they said the last 10 years of his filing reports, basically between 2010 and 2020, are unusable for them. Apparently that they cannot make heads or tails of them. There's a lot of fraud that they're intimating that that is the reason why, that they cannot see or understand where some of the accounts are going on. And so they are turning a lot of this stuff over to the powers that be. And Mazars, I believe it's called, the firm that has handled Trump's affairs and have been actually kind of, in a way, hiding things for him for 10 years, are no longer doing that. More on that later. We are going to keep things a little bit lighter from here on out because I feel like I just brought down the blue energy by talking about this. But folks, let's be aware of the history we're learning. There is a lass out of London. Well, okay, she's out of the UK named Brie Runway. Okay. Now, since we're talking about fashion cares and we've got my girls coming in just a little bit, we're going to throw little Brie Runway's new single out. It dropped, I believe, actually a week ago. It's called Pressure. It's, again, 2.5 minutes of pressure and jams, and we'll be right back. Remember, catch the tunes live on 106.9 FM here in the Catalan region and Radio Cana with a K, Barcelona.com.
I'm finna get these hoes what they want. Yeah.
Shine like Vivi, bad like Riri. Turn it on like TV, drip on Fiji. Pop it in like a CD. Got my name on repeat. The girls wanna be me, but these hoes can't see me. No, these hoes can't see me. Wrist on icy, and your boyfriend like me. That's why the girls wanna fight me. No matter what you do, you can pay your respect when a bitch come true. I don't make the rules, I just make them all gay when I step in the room. Who loves me? You do. And I feel how I keep all these niggas running back. Let them know, let them know, let them know I won't smoke back. Yeah. Apply the pressure, pressure, pressure. Make me come through with the pressure, pressure, pressure. Keep you in line like yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Make you come through with the pressure, pressure, pressure. Up and down like a yo-yo, I could do it in slow-mo. Wait, 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 wait. You wanna take a photo? Oh baby, that's a no-no. And I'm dressed in cocoa. Can't tell me nothing when I look like this. I'm such a problem when I got my shit. No matter what you do, you can pay your respect when a bitch come true. I don't make the rules, I just make them all gay when I step in the room. Who loves me? You do. And I feel how I keep all these niggas running back. Let them know, let them know, let them know I won't smoke back. Yeah. Apply the pressure, pressure, pressure. Make me come through with the pressure, pressure, pressure. Keep you in line like yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Make make you come through with the pressure, pressure, pressure.
Anywhere I walk is a runway. Walk around, fly down to the runway. Gotta use both hands when it bounce, babe. Bounce, babe, will it bounce, babe? Hey, anywhere I walk is a runway. Walk around, fly down to the runway. Gotta use both hands when it bounce, babe. Bounce, babe, bounce, babe.
Apply the pressure, pressure, pressure. Make me come through with the pressure, pressure, pressure. Keep you in line like yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Make you come through with the pressure, pressure, pressure.
All right, since we're keeping it runway, that was Brie Runway with pressure. Let's get some pressure off of that because the ganadores of the Goyas. I don't know if anybody watched that. I am being joined in the studio, by the way, by Lady Karen Holiday and Laura Avery at the moment. But yay! Of our fashion cares. Hey, man, we do care. And so, but what I wanted to say is that the Goyas, when I was a kid, and I'm going to throw back a little bit of history. When I was a kid, big fashion, award shows were a big thing. And the Goyas were on Saturday night. Sunday night, Saturday night, I don't know. I was under the impression of too much Moderna vaccine going through me. But it was basically won by El Buen Patron. And I have to say that the way that they hosted the Goyas, where they hosted them was in Valencia. And the director of the film came out, and he said, since we have a law that we have to do 75% of our education in Catalonia in Catalan and 25% in Spanish, this is how I'm going to do my acceptance speech. And it was radical. I'm going to tell you, there was so much Valenciano and Catalan that was spoken that night. It was actually an interesting amalgamation of what Spain is, as well as so many Basque film winning a lot of awards. El Buen Patron is the one that won Best Awards. And, of course, Javier Bardem won Best Actor for like the 17th time? I'm just kidding.
Incredible.
7th time. But anyway, that was lovely. I want to mention the fact that we're doing something about fashion cares. Because this week, well, the past weeks have been a lot of fashion weeks up in here. And I want to give a mad shout out to Lady Kelly Millions, who introduced me to Mr. Laquan Smith, who stole the New York Fashion Week this past week, or a week and a half ago, with his runway show. Because I used to help Kelly rep this guy, Laquan Smith. Folks, look him up. Just as it sounds, Laquan Smith. When he was fresh out of high school, and the fact that he is hitting the runway like this now, so many years later, is beautiful. And what we're doing as Fashion Week's end is really what's beautiful. And I want to thank the ladies again for being here, because not only were we here last month and 3 months or 2 or 3 months before that, but now we're doing a whole concept design, and you can see us running through the heather with our Fashion Cares flyer here. Ladies, thank you again for being here today. We are also going to be joined later on in approximately 23 to 25 minutes by Lady Tori Sparks, who's going to be calling in, and is going to be one of our special guest stars who's going to be performing as well at this event that I mentioned at the top of the show. Sunday in Carret Bansbase number 13 at Palau Dalmases. We're going to be showing the Fashion Cares event, and let's talk about that. Thank you for being here again, as usual.
Thank you for having us.
Hell yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Oh man, let's talk why. Okay, I always started off again, this typical, but we are here for a specific reason. Why? Take it away.
Well, all our events are about fundraising, with the emphasis on the fun, having fun, giving back, making the difference that we can. And we do that by supporting Lligam Dona, in this case, which is an association in Barcelona that supports women in a very concrete way who have been domestic violence victims and who need help. They need shelter, they need psychologists, they need lawyers, and they need a chance to get back into a normal life.
How long has Lligam Dona been operating here in the
About
city?
30 years.
Wow.
30 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so specifically, they run the gamut for everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes these women have to be rescued from the houses they're in where they are being abused. Sometimes with their children, they have nowhere to go, and they are taken to a halfway house or a shelter that is run by Lligam Dona, and there they are helped, whether they need psychological help, as I mentioned, or legal help. They live in a community. They learn the skills they need also, if they need that, to get back into the community and have a new life.
Okay, see, this is why we're doing it. As I've said before, we've reported on this before here and throughout for the last 2 years, that the rate of abuse that have gone on within houses, within people being locked in with their abusers, has exploded. Catalonia is, and Barcelona specifically, is not escaping that in any way, shape, or form. These specific things, though, you talk about fundraising and fun. What's going to be happening over here? Because this is, Palau Dalma says it's no joke. It's a Baroque style as well. When you walk in, you're going to see what we're talking about, folks. But it's a Baroque style event palace where all manner of things happen. We have little nooks and crannies that are hidden as well, where we be performers will be performing. Let me mumble over my words. I need some water. But Lady Avery, what are we going to be finding, Lady Avery?
I've always wanted to be a lady. I'll take the title. I'll take the title. Thank you.
Love it.
Well, as well as helping abused women, we have a major concept for this event, which is sustainability in fashion, because fashion is one of the biggest polluting industries on the planet. And what's happened over the last few decades is that the fashion cycle has got faster and faster and faster. So whereas our grandmas used to buy clothes maybe twice a year, these days we expect to go into the shops every week and find something new, which is crazy. But we can do it because demand has pushed prices down and down and down. But apparently we have 5 times as many clothes in our wardrobes as our mums and grandmas used to have. But we only wear them. We only wear 20% of them 80% of the time. That's an awful lot of stuff in our wardrobes that isn't being worn. So we need to do something about the way we shop. And it's not about buying less, it's about buying more carefully. It's about thinking about whether things actually work for us personally to make us look really good. And it's about thinking, well, is this particular garment made of a sustainable fibre, for example? Because we always thought organic or cotton, natural fibres were good. They're not. Because water, it uses something like 20,000 litres of water. Stop drinking. You're using up the planet. It's water.
This is recycled water.
I'm joking. Ew. No, but seriously, you know, while it takes 20,000 litres of water to make one pair of jeans and one T-shirt,
20,000?
litres of water to make one pair of jeans and one T-shirt, but there are people on the planet, not like you and me and Lady Karen, who haven't got access to drinking water. So where's the justice in that, you know? So if cotton can be produced sustainably without using all that water, and there's loads of research going into that these days, but we can look at buying fibres like hemp or linen, which are sustainable because they use so much less water, they use less fertilizers, and, you know, so they're not subjecting the farmers or the local environment to nasty poisonous substances.
This is...
So it's a fascinating subject, but it just makes it hard for consumers to know what to do, because retailers don't always tell the truth on their labelling.
What, people lie? What? I'm kidding.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But for example, there is an example going around that a particular retailer had on a label 95% sustainable. They weren't lying because that 95% sustainable actually referred to the ticket, not the garment that it was on. So they weren't lying. I would never say that anybody lied.
Okay.
Well, there's one person I would accuse of lying, but we won't go into that here. But,
okay. Oh.
But the pressure goes all the way down the line to, you know, from the retailers all the way down to the farmers who are producing it, and then, of course, to the horrific conditions and ridiculous wages that are paid in the sweatshops, and so it goes. So we just have to think carefully about how we care for our clothes. What we've got at Fashion Cares is we've got people who will help you to know how to do that. So we've got a wonderful lady called Rosa who is a costurera, an alterations, a fabulous seamstress. So she will be able to
Rosa,
say...
you said.
Rosa, yeah. So she'll be able to say, yeah, look, you know, you can shorten this, you can change that, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, if you don't have those skills to do it yourself, there are loads of people around who can teach you or who can do it for you, people like Rosa, for example. We've got Carla, who is a recent graduate of IED here in Barcelona. She did her master's in organic dyeing, so she can tell you, yeah, you could dye that, but you couldn't dye that. So she will advise you on which fabrics can be dyed, which can't, and how to use organic dyes. Then we've got another gorgeous girl from IED who's recently graduated with her master's, and she is the knitting and crocheting guru, or guruess, guru anyway, whatever. So things like, I really love that jumper, but don't think the style's really me. Well, why not just unpick it and re-knit it? I mean, like, how cool is that? We've got Brenda.
Deconstruction and reconstruction.
Absolutely. We've got Brenda, who will advise you on what colours suit you. I can advise on personal style and wardrobe management because my background is in styling. Have I missed anyone? I don't think I have. Oh, and, oh my goodness, I forgot, Antonella, who is this stunning lady who had never really done anything creative, particularly before Cuarentena, but she suddenly looked at her brother's discarded pile of CDs and thought, I can make jewellery out of those. I mean, how do you have that thought? I mean, she is amazing. And she makes beautiful, beautiful jewellery that she's going to be selling. So we've got some...
How do you find these amazing people?
Karen knows most of Barcelona.
Karen, how do you find these people?
I'm getting plugged into the creative side, so...
Exactly. They turn up in the most unexpected places. And Barcelona is a stunning city, but it's almost like a village. You know, after you've been here a while, people know each other, people propose things. And you know the really magical thing about it? Since I've been fundraising, I've noticed that as soon as you mention that it's for the cause that, for example, that we're raising money for, people just want to be part of it. It's a different energy.
It is. And I have to say that it is also something about the energy that you ladies bring. There's a fluidity, just speaking here with you right now, that goes through this. And when you come to these events, there is a lot of love, time, talent, treasures that are put into this as well. And you feel that when you go there. And a place like what you have chosen with Palau Dalmases is also...
Well, they
It's
are
such-
fabulous hosts.
Yeah, we
I mean,
can't
amazing.
thank Claire
perfect
and
contacts over there.
Claire and Robert Palau Dalmases have just been amazing, and Gabriella, who we liaise with a lot, is an absolute sweetheart. And to have the privilege of this stunning space for our events has just been wonderful.
Absolute blessing. Again, well, speaking of beautiful contacts, let's throw on a little ditty right now. Is she still alive? Is she still with us? Is Brigitte Bardot still with us?
Yeah, she lives down on the French Riviera, surrounded by her animals. She's almost, I think she's quite a hermit, isn't she?
I think
She's,
so, yeah.
That's why I'm
lives
asking.
with her animals.
You know what? We're gonna
What a way to
we're gonna
go.
throw us back to the '60s right now. This is Contact by Brigitte Bardot, and we'll again be back in 2.5 minutes with ladies Karen and Laura. And remember, catch the tunes live at 106.9 FM and Radio Canal with a K Barcelona.com.
Un météorite m'a percé le cœur. Vous sur la terre, vous avez des docteurs. Contact. Contact. Il me faut une transfusion de mercure. J'en ai tant perdu par cette blessure. Contact. Contact. vaisseau spatial. Retirez-moi cette poussière sidérale. Comprenez-moi, il me faut à tout prix rejoindre mon amour dans la galaxie.
Speaking of contacts, who are some of the performers that we are in contact with? And wait a minute, contacts and catwalks. Catwalks and contacts and performers. Oh my. Okay, catwalks. Can we talk
Right.
about catwalks, please?
We have 3 catwalk shows during the afternoon, all featuring the clothes that have been donated to us. And I have got the most wonderful band of guys and girls who are not professional models. They're doing it all voluntarily, and it's their first time ever on the catwalk. But they are absolutely brilliant. They're marvellous. So
Okay.
thank you to all my gorgeous, gorgeous models.
And how many are we gonna actually have, like, them sashaying down the runway?
Yes, they are going to sashay for their lives.
Females and males?
Yep, we got a few very brave guys. Yep, and
If
they're
you need
all
another
absolute.
one.
They're all absolute troopers who are currently trooping through my tiny flat, burrowing with me under these mountains of donated clothes to get them all styled up. So they're having fun and they're just being absolutely brilliant. I am so grateful to them.
I love it. And shout out to IED for these kids who are coming over from there too and helping out.
yeah.
Madam, let's talk about who's going to be performing, Lady Karen.
Yep.
We got a lot of people coming in.
I know. Well, we're again blessed with amazing performers who they're giving their time. So again, we're like Laura with the models. I'm so grateful to Tamar St. Clair. She is one of the first New Zealand artists to combine the worlds of Maori, Maori language with jazz. And she has an amazing voice, so we're very pleased to hear her. She calls it her world soul music.
Her name's Tamar St. Clair.
Tamar St. Clair.
Tamar St. Clair.
And so she's performed in Barcelona, in London at Ronnie Scott's, and she's going to be very exciting. She's going to be opening our event. And then we've got a stunning DJ that you would know, Shalor, who's got an incredibly eclectic range of music, and she's going to be DJing for part of the afternoon. And then we have the ever fabulous Tori Spox. I'm so glad she's coming on your show after us. She's
She's actually calling in while we're all here together.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, she's going to be calling in. Just a second.
Well, I just want to say I've known Tori for years, and I've been hoping that one day she would perform at one of our events. She's lived in Nashville. Her style is influenced by that. And since she was 18, she's been on the road. She's done, I think, over 150 shows a year in over 24 countries since she was 18. And she won I think it was in 2019 that she won the award for Rock Artist of the Year by No Solo Cine magazine. She's a force of nature, and no two of her concerts are the same. I've heard her perform several times. They're always different. She's a powerhouse and an amazing singer. She's coming with her accompanist or percussionist, Javi Garcia. I'm so excited. They're going to be our grand finale. So whatever time people come, this is really important. People always say, wow, 12 till 7, what time should I come? And I'm like, come all day because you're not going to want to leave.
Buy loads of stuff and spend loads of money.
Amen. Because not 100% of the profits go to Gigamdona. All right. So this is how we roll. Well, maybe 99.9. We have to buy ice sometimes or something. But yes, 100% of the profits go to Gigamdona. So this is the whole point of why we're doing this. Because remember, fashion cares. Do you? And that's not a riff on that Melania jacket. By
Exactly.
The way.
And that 5 entry fee, if people can bring in cash, it does help us. That's
Okay. Yes. Please. Can you restate that, love?
Yes, there's a 5 entrance donation fee, or entrance donation, if you like. That goes 100% to Yigamdonna, and it does help us if that's in cash, because we want to give the money to them, not to credit cards or banks. But obviously, you'll be able to pay for things inside by card as well as by cash. Yeah.
All right. In fact, I believe in just a few minutes, our lady Tori is going to be calling in. So we're going to piggyback off of that. Let's throw on one really quick track and then come back with a few more questions that I have. And then we'll talk to Tori when we comes back. This is Moby, because it's one of my favorite tracks when I hear it on a runway. This is Go, 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 Go. And we'll be right back, children, in 3.5. Yeah. Okay, go. Let's talk about go. For example, Is this perhaps one of the models that's going to be gracing the stage, the catwalks, this Sunday from 12 to 7 at Carret Banvais number 13 in El Gótico, Palau d'Almacés?
Yes, it is. And not only that,
She's also our latest sign-up as a new member of the Barcelona Women's Network.
Rock on. So Barcelona Women's Network is also aiding the cause?
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Amen. Okay.
Yep, indeed. It's
And who designed this lovely poster over here that has all the information that we're going to leave here? Some of them, but well, if we can. Who designed this? Who printed all this?
The designer was a great friend of ours, Claudia. She
out,
actually
Claudia.
designed it with Elsa's photo, and balsinoweb.s is the printing company in Barcelona that has very, very kindly printed a whole load of these flyers and A3 posters for us.
free.
For free. So
Madonna.
balsinoweb.s, thank you very much for that. Yeah.
What is the philosophy behind why you do this? Like, where did all this come about? Whoever.
Well, fundraising in particular came about for me, for a number of years ago, with people the Hot Chili Chicas, the road crew, Charlene Halbert, Julia Fossey and Julie Stevenson, who are still very involved with, when we did a road rally across southern Africa to raise money for shoes in that area, and also a women's association, ADAS, here in Barcelona. So for me, the fundraising element started that, and I realized that, going to people and asking them for money doesn't work for me in the same way as saying, come to a fun event and pay something on the door and that goes to it. Because it's hard to ask people for money more than once, but you can ask them to an awful lot of different events. And so the events creation was born. In the year in the run-up to the rally, the Hot Chili Chicas had over 20 events. And we raised nearly 20,000 euros through those events. And then, of course, with Laura, we've been working together since last year. We had a Sense and Sensuality event last October, which raised 1,000 euros for the cause. Last month's Footprints raised nearly 1,700 euros for the cause. So, what is it?
So we're going to beat it this time?
We want to beat it this time, exactly. Come and have fun again.
Because this time it's not only 100% of the entry that goes to Lligam Donna, it's 100% of the money that we make selling all the clothes and the shoes. Wow. So we just want people to come and buy loads of stuff.
This is the idea. Now, folks, we are being joined, I believe we're being joined, I'm going to put my headphones on, by one of our special performers who's going to be there this Sunday. Is Tori, are you there? Tori, can you hear me?
I can, actually. How are
Hey,
you?
madam, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us in the club today. How are you?
Thanks to you. I'm good now because I just got to hear Karen talking about this amazing event that you guys have organized, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. I know that sounds like a thing you say, but I actually mean it. It's a really, these days, who takes the time to organize this kind of thing in the midst of all the mess everyone has going on in their lives? I really admire you guys. Good job.
Well, we're really blessed to have you taking part of that as well. And I want to really give a mad shout out for that as well. Because, well, in the midst of everything that's been happening, especially over the last 2 years, thank God this Omicron is kind of on its way out. How did you hear about this, and why did you want to take part in this out of curiosity?
Well, you and I know each other at this point for several years, and you know that I'm always involved in benefit events, but not just any benefit event. It seems like people use the word benefit event as a reason to get musicians to play for free a lot, and then you find out that the musician's the only one not getting paid, right? But there are events, such as this one, that are just people who donate, like Karen does, a ton of time to help people who truly need it. And I think, as you mentioned, especially these days with everything going on, it's more important than ever to me to use my powers for good, so to speak, with the microphone to call attention to causes like this that are important. So if I can bring anything to the table, bring some people out, spread the word, then I think for me it's an honor to be a part of it. And as to how I found out about it, Karen has been a part of the American Society for a number of years, and so have I, and we've just crossed paths, and one day we were talking about it, and I said, well, can I do anything? Can I help? And what I have to offer is that, to show up and play and spread the word.
And we're so grateful that you did. I have a question. Do you know what time you're going to be performing by any chance?
It would be funny if I didn't. But but I say we because my percussion player, Javi Garcia, will be accompanying me. We will be playing at 6 p.m. for 1 hour. It's going to be the end of the event, but as you guys have been talking about, I'm sure the event starts at 12, and there's all kinds of amazing things happening beforehand. But we are the finale.
And I hope you can come down a little bit earlier so I can play with you just for a while before you have to go rock the night away for us. Is there anything...
the afternoon away.
The afternoon into the evening away. 7 o'clock is officially evening. I'm just kidding. Tori, I want to thank you so much. I know you have been mad busy, and I was just thinking, I was going over some of the past shows. You have not been here in almost 15 months. March will be 15 months since we last hung out here in the studio. We've got to change that soon, madam, if we can.
Okay.
I agree. That would be lovely. Because last time was when I was lucky enough to be your co-host for a New Year's Eve but it wasn't this year, it was the last year.
Exactly.
Last year of the year.
Into 20 to 21 from December. So March will be 15 months, and that's too long. So anyway, remember, folks, this event is going down. Lady Tori is going to be performing from 6 to 7. The event is Fashion Cares. It's going to be at Palau Dalmases, which is in El Gótico on Carret Bansbais, number 13. You're going to get a lowdown. In fact, when we hang up with Lady Tori, we're going to get a lowdown of specifics that are going to be there. And again, run through the times. Tori, I want to thank you for taking this time from your busy schedule to give us a call. And madam, we look forward to seeing you Sunday at 6 o'clock at Palau Dalmases. And I will see you very soon. Thank you so much. Tori Sparks.
Thank you, guys. I'm very excited to be a part of it. Good luck with the organization, and I will do everything I can to bring out people in the meantime.
Good Lord, we're going to need that luck. All right, thank you. And remember, folks, you can follow Tori Sparks at Spotify. You can catch her at Spotify. You can catch her on Instagram. You can catch her on Facebook. You can catch her on Twitter. You can catch her where all good music is streamed. That's Tori Sparks. Thank you, love. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too.
Ciao, Bella. All right, folks, we don't mess around. We don't mess around up in here. That was Tori Sparks. Again, she's going to be one of the many performers, several performers that's going to be there. She's going to be closing out the night for us, the afternoon for us. And who else is going to be there? Besides some of the beautiful people, the women that we talked about earlier, there's going to be a lot of different little eclectic things. Can we throw some of those out before we have to wrap up? Who wants to do it?
Well, there's a couple of surprises that we can't give away.
Ooh,
I'll throw a
love it.
shout out to Wayne Scott, who's going to be involved in that with Anna Isabella, and I'm not going to say more than that because that's a surprise. So we've got a few things going on, but whatever time people pop in, there will be something exciting happening.
Okay. All right. But there's also going to be, like we mentioned, I wanted to make mention that there's going to be basically there's a load of clothes to take as well, right? You pay your €5. Do people get how is this rolling? People buy the clothes that they want and choose from as they want, and all of those proceeds go to Gigamdona. We're also going to have some shoes, right? Are we still going to have the Viscata shoes?
Actually,
there?
we've still got Viscata shoes because there's certain sizes, so they don't fit everybody, but the people they do fit generally buy several pairs. But, anytime you have an event, they're beautiful, they're stunning. Viscata has just been so generous in that.
The men's shoes. I'm going to have to get some of those.
You
or
are
something.
going to have to get some.
We've also, sorry.
Please, no, ma'am.
No, we've also got some Prada shoes and some United Nude shoes and some Todd's shoes. So any fashionistas out there will recognise those brands. And some other shoes as well, pre-loved shoes. So we're living up to our name about caring and recycling and reusing.
And again, sustainability.
And that's really important about the recycling part as well, which of course is part of the sustainability thing. So we really want, as many of these clothes and shoes and bags and accessories and jewellery as possible that people have donated to actually fly off the rails or off the tables or whatever. So they're all going to be priced very reasonably, really reasonably, because the aim is, yes, it's to make, money for Yigam Donna, but it's also to recycle and make sure that these pre-loved clothes get to be loved again by somebody else.
And lovely clothes as well,
Yeah.
I might
I mean,
add.
I've been sorting out the clothes that have been donated, and we've got some lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Really, really lovely stuff.
Fabulous.
But with the concept of recycling, even if you see something and you think, oh, that's a really lovely print, that's really nice fabric, but that garment's not going to work for me. Well, if you're a crafter, you can turn it into cushion covers, patchwork, tote bags, whatever. So it's about using the fabric, not necessarily for its original use.
Exactly.
So
It's sustainability.
It's sustainability, yeah. It's just opening your vision to think, well, how can I use this? What can I do with it? I might not like the shape, but it's gorgeous fabric.
And folks, I have to reiterate what Lady Laura said 30 minutes ago. 20,000 liters of water to make those jeans that you're wearing. Okay? So please,
And
let's remember that.
Do you know what? I lectured in one of the top fashion colleges in the world, and my fashion students didn't know what the verb to darn meant, which is scandalous. This top,
Really?
this top I bought in 1987. It has provided gala dinners for a whole gang of moths, but I darned it, and I'm still wearing it.
87?
87. 87.
Folks, fashion cares do you. And this is what we're doing this. So you come down, you give your little bit of farthings, you take away fashion treasures, pre-loved fashion treasures. This is going to be going on with sustainability, with people who can teach you some stuff. They can help mend you some stuff. They can help mend your heart. And you can mend your own heart by doing something good by coming to Carrer Bansbase, number 13 in El Gótico. This is going to be from 12 to 7 this Sunday, the 20th of February at Palau Dalmases. We're going to be having a whole smorgasbord of, well, not just the fashions and the runways and the music and the DJ, but there's going to be a bar. So you can also wet your tipple, or whatever we say.
Wet your whistle.
Wet your whistle and double your tipple and all that good stuff. I'm stumbling over my words and mumbling over my verbs. All right, now. Folks, also, you can reach out. How can people get a hand, lend a hand, or get involved? Well, I'm going to give you 3 emails if you would like to donate. It's probably a little too late, but if you want to come out, join in, and get involved with not only what the ladies are doing every few weeks now, it seems, but also you can join and get some information on Barcelona Women's Network. Fashion Cares BCN, just as it sounds, Fashion Cares BCN at yahoo.com. Karen _, that's guion bajo, Karen _ holiday, HOLLADAY, like holiday, at hotmail.com, and BWN secretary at gmail.com. That's for the Barcelona Women's Network. I want to thank you, ladies, again for not only doing this, but for bringing people to notice and to make them aware of what's going on. We will see you, beautiful people, on Sunday, and then again here, bringing it to you live like we do at the Club with Lucas. Okay, we do not want you to bring clothes on that day either. Do not bring clothes. We've provided the clothes. You're coming to buy the clothes and enjoy the sustainable pre-loved fashion and live music that we'll be giving you this Sunday from 12 to 7 at Palau Dalmases. Have a beautiful one. We're going to lend it with Tori. This is Tori Sparks. Quizás, and quizás we'll see you soon, all right? Much love. Take it easy. See you Sunday. Bye-bye.
Siempre que te pregunto que cuándo, cómo y dónde, tú siempre me respondes quizás, quizás, quizás.